idea. Why not? Hey, True Believers, England Teen here. So this is going to be a weekly show. We're going to be doing top 10s, and it's not always going to be 10. Just going to be honest. Even over at Extreme Movie Show, where Top 10 Tuesday has been going on for quite a while, we do a little bit more than 10. But what we're going to do tonight, we're going to just start it off a little something casual, instead of having to figure out, hey, what's our best of this and best of that and all that kind of stuff. We figured, what the heck, let's pull a few of the books that we find to be our favorite trade paperbacks, our favorite graphic novels off of our shelves, share them with you. These are obviously going to be things that we recommend. If you haven't read them, read them, or even tell us why that particular book may be your favorite. Like I said, I've got some nostalgic favorites here, not just the story, which I think are amazing, but just the books themselves have a little bit of a story. Obviously, I want to hear from you guys as well. So if you've got something you want to share, why is it important to you? Why is this your favorite story? Why is it your favorite trade paperback on the shelf? By all means, join the conversation in the comment section as well. And there we go. I don't know what else, what other introduction other than to say we today have the Authenticator with us.
Yes, hello everybody.
And Dalton's decided to hide his face, so we're going to have to imagine whatever book he's talking about.
Well, I could show up wearing a bathrobe, but nobody wants to see that.
Nobody does. You know what? Actually, hold on. I think I'm going to say, are you still wearing the top hat? Because that could just be like you're trying to be the world's weirdest Hugh Hefner.
Well, no, I could get the top hat. It's literally hanging on my doorknob.
Dalton, you need the monocle, the top hat, and a pipe.
There you go. Yeah, go full penguin. You should be the penguin.
New pair of sunglasses recently that I've been.
It's the penguinticator. And of course, we've got Eric Breen with us today.
How's everybody doing tonight?
All right, and as always, the real Dr. VENKMAN, except no substitutes.
Unless you want to.
Of course, yeah. I mean, basically, you were a substitute for Dalton for a while on Extreme Movie Show. I don't know what's going on with that. So
I filled his shoes really well, didn't I?
No, anyway, gang. Hello to Maranya in the house. How are you doing? America Chavez takes it all. I do believe that is something both Breen and myself agree with you. And hello to Tehilium. Good to see you too. Okay, we have to start off with a visual aid as well. So let's go with you, VENKMAN. What would be like the first of the books you pulled off this? Now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I pulled 5 off myself. So maybe we're doing top 20 tonight. If you guys...
I went by a theme. Books that I could go back and read. Okay. There's some I've read are one and done's. I know the stories, but there's some others they have more value to me. If you want me to go with my first book, I can go.
Yeah. Let's see what did you pull off. What is your first of the favorites? Your number 5.
Army of Darkness, Omnibus #1 collection. Ties in with the movies, and continues on. How can you like it? It's kooky Ash humor. There are scenes in here where Ash, he has a machine gun arm. All the different things he has in here. It ties in the actual Army of Darkness stuff. He's a pervert. He's an idiot. He thinks that he's God's gift to women, but he's also a moron. And anything good happens to him always happens in trifles of this bad.
So in short, Ash Williams in general.
So what stories does it? Obviously, it has the miniseries, The Army of Darkness.
This is the first 15 issues of the acclaimed Army of Darkness series, along with the movie adaptation and more, in just one giant book.
Yeah, that's a lot of story right there.
Original price was $30 US, but I got marked down to $15 at my comic book store.
Yeah.
So trades.
It's always nice to get a discount.
So just kind of the art you get in here,
Yeah, show it off, man. All right. That looks actually kind of cool.
And this is rated T for teen. So teens and up. But just stupid humor. And you get the ghouls in here. It's cartoonish, It's not really graphic, where it's like, Oh, that guy's arm got off. Now it looks like, because most of the time it just looks like grape jelly flying off. It doesn't look like blood.
And who is it? What publisher? What is?
Let's see here if it says the publisher. Andy Hartnell writes it. Illustrated by Nick Bradshaw. There's a lot of those issues. Joshua Johnson. So a lot of this is Nick Bradshaw. But like I said, if you love the movie series, you're gonna love this book. I mean, it includes the all this kooky humor. You know, I mean, I still get thrills, man. Like, you know, when he revs up the chainsaw and starts slapping, he's like, "Come on, bring it!" You know, like, and all you see arms flying everywhere. It's just like, holy crap. Yeah, and it has the Army of Darkness, you know, based story in here too. So you're seeing scenes from the from the movie, and a little bit more. Good Ash versus Bad Ash. Let's see if I can find it in here. You get Ash with the long beard because he overslept. You know.
So it continues right after the Army of Darkness.
Pretty much.
Cool.
And then the art. Now you look at the cartoon art, but then it gets actually some decent art here too. Later in the series.
Yeah, that's not bad. I mean, it really became cartoonish, but that is not too shabby.
And this is through Dynamite Entertainment, along with MGM Studios.
Okay. Yeah, a lot of the modern day Ash stories have that really over exaggerated cartoonish kind of feeling to it. That's not bad.
Look at this.
Not bad at all. Good bloody comedy horror for you.
Early Dynamite.
Yeah.
So, and this is only number 1 of probably 12 or 13 now. Same with the Hellblazer. You go there, it's like, oh man, there's so many since 2000.
Yeah.
So I go to buy these. It's like I'm gonna have a shelf here. This is gonna be this is all Ash. Now the rest is gonna be whatever next series. It's like, oh.
I organize my shelves that way. I organize them by character, basically. So yeah.
And
mine are in alphabetical order. But then again, if it says Batman, it would probably be like Batman Prey, Batman Aliens, Batman so forth.
If you ever figured out Ash at Comics, you look at his background, his everything. He has Evil Dead, Army of Darkness, Ash.
That's true.
He's a big fan of it too. So
alrighty, so Authenticator, even though we can't see what we got here, what would be your first
number
pick
5.
for? Yeah, what would your number 5 for your favorite on your shelf graphic novel or trade paperback?
That would be Hellboy BPRD 1945 to 1948. It's one big omnibus. It covers 2 years, I think, both in and out of universe of Hellboy BPRD, which, for those that don't know, Hellboy BPRD is essentially the period pieces of the Hellboy universe. They start in their respective years, and they essentially feature Hellboy sort of growing into his role. But more importantly, particularly for the 45 to 48 book, you see a larger focus on the sort of founding of the BPRD itself and the expertise of Professor Broom, which works for me because, well, as I've always said, as much as I love HB, he's kind of the most boring part of his own universe. But the book itself is actually really nice. It's a nice hardcover with a dust jacket, like a very nice upscale novel, and it's thick. It's 2 years of comics. I think it's 420 something pages all together. And if you're like me and that you like sort of period pieces, this will give you some good turn of the last century material to work with.
I can't hear any volume.
Should I go into more or?
Sorry about that. I forgot I muted my mic so I could cough.
I was wondering what's going on.
I was actually talking.
I just
felt
assumed that was my
pressure-
piece
I
of
felt
crap
pressure to
equipment.
Keep going, but it didn't want to. I
It's
didn't want
good.
to babble.
You're good, man. It was all my mistake. Maranya saying technically Bill Murray was a substitute for Venkman, as originally Aykroyd wanted Belushi. That is true. I like the black panel borders as it fits the theme of the book. I'm talking about your Ash book. Hey there, Tillium, Chrononaught, and Underworld Dream. Howdy to all of you guys. Aquaman Tempest, Search for Mira, Water Bearer is Aqualads. And my number 5 says Maranya is Iron Man 2020, which I got to go with Machine Man 2020 as a decent 2020 book myself. But hey, I'm a different breed of cat. How about you, Breen? What do you have? What's your first pick?
These are in no particular order, but I'm going to lead off with the Black Lightning trade paperback that covers the original series.
All 10.
Actually 1 through 11 in World's Finest.
No, there were 11. Okay.
Yeah, and there was actually a 12th issue that was a victim of the implosion, and I think it was penciled. I don't know if it was ever inked. I think there's that might have been in the canceled Comics Cavalcade book. But this was back in the mid second half of the 70s. DC kind of had two worlds going on. They had the stuff for the really little kids like the Supermans and like some of the mainstream heroes that were nothing ever. There's no real continuity, no real consequences to any of the stories, and there was the other half.
Everything solved in 30 minutes, as the old sitcom quote goes.
Yeah, or a CBS procedural. But the other half, you had stuff like Freedom Fighters, Secret Society of Supervillains, Super Team Family that really got into some really complicated storytelling, or complicated for the day. And one of them was Black Lightning, that was created by Tony Isabella, and if you didn't know that, he will certainly remind you.
Yeah, these days Black Lightning is Batman's house. What now?
Yeah.
Tony Isabella needs therapy.
yes, he does. But it doesn't change the fact that once upon a time he was a pretty good writer. And the artist on the book was Trevor Von Eden, who I believe was 17 at the time that the book started. But the first storyline, which lasts 8 issues, is basically his war against the 100, which was a crime organization that had thrived in Metropolis. And it was one of those deals where Superman really couldn't do anything about it because they kind of kept to the shadows. Like I said, one of the lines of the book is that they see you coming, and like rats, they scurry off, back under their rocks. And, so he really wasn't equipped to deal with it. So, Black Lightning, was the one that was tasked with taking him down. And the side, the supporting characters, they borrowed Inspector Henderson from the Superman books to, help him out. And, along the way, Cyanide, the assassin, who was a man in the original series, but it culminated in a battle with Tobias Whale. And the first story, like I said, took 8 issues and was very well done and really ahead of its time. For late 70s, DC book, which a lot of times people just dismiss that era of DC. We're basically anything before the Crisis. But
you know what? You say that, but since the auctions, I don't think so. Or at least it's being anytime I put up something from the 70s, it seems to be zipped. It's almost like a rediscovery.
No, I guess I didn't say that correctly. I was there's kind of like a like a Kvitch, how you pronounce that factor with the DC stories of the day, but and they're kind of cool to collect. But what a lot of people don't realize is there are a lot of really, really good stories done by DC. I mean, I'm not going to say they were as good as Marvel, because Marvel was far superior, but DC actually had their share of good stories in this half of the decade, and Black Lightning is absolutely at the top of that list.
All righty, cool. That is that's pretty impressive. I like those stories. I was actually going to do a really that good on Black Lightning, so I began reading everything. It's not a bad run there. Let's see. Maranya's saying she's changing her list, and number 5 is Emperor Doom. Hold on, just to check. I want to pop that up because that was a Marvel graphic novel. If I wasn't it?
That is correct.
Yeah. Let me type that in so we could show that off as well. I mean, heck, why not? If you're counting down with us, why don't we get some sort of mention of what you're talking about, right? And here is Maranya's pick. I dig on this. Now, what can you tell us about this particular story? Have you read this? I haven't read this since it came out.
That makes 2 of us.
That makes 2 of us. There you go. Yeah, I mean, it's been a long dang time, but there you go. And that's Maranya's number 5 pick. All righty. I love comic. My number 5 was Stark Wars. It covers the Armor Wars. Let's check that out, just for fun and games. Stark Wars, and this is this is the from Marvel Comics. And this is it right here.
Yeah, and sad to say, Jimmy and I didn't really do this story justice last week.
Oh yeah, you guys didn't like it as much, or
Jimmy didn't like it much at all. You know, I read it. I reread it a couple days before we did the live stream, and it was already starting to slip through the cracks.
Okay. Oh, and we're getting a Doom takes over the world thanks to the Purple Man and finds out it's not a bowl of cherries. I always wonder why people want to rule the world. It just seems like it would be just way too much hassle. My first pick, if you don't mind me interjecting my opinion in on this whole thing, is a story called Shazam and the Monster Society of Evil. This is kind of a retelling of an older story from the original Shazam run, and it's done by Jeff Smith, which I've always kind of dug on his art because it's a bit cartoonish, but his writing is not. It's actually a little more adult. I mean, he still tells stories that are good for basically the whole family, if you want to go that direction. But it's much more deep than you would think that the art gives away. Incredible storyline. I managed to get this one. You talked. We're going to have a couple of these like this, but we talked about the other day how the Ollie's sale when it first came out was incredible. This was in it, so I got this one for like $3.99. I was like, yes, because it's the hardcover. And one of the things that makes it one of my favorite books on the shelf, I haven't done it yet, but there's actually the cover folds out to become a poster.
Nice.
So yeah, I dig on that. There's going to be another one of those in mine as well. The storyline is pretty cool. As of course, it tells the origin story of Shazam. It retells that, but when he gets the power of Shazam, it's right before Dr. Savannah decides to make his move, and there's these 3 giant androids that show up in the park, and he's got to defeat them, and he finds a little bit of help in his adoptive sister. It's so freaking cool. So I recommend this book so much. If you can find it, get it. It is absolutely freaking worth it. That's my number 5, The Power of Shazam by Jeff Smith. All righty. What else do we have? My number 5 is Animal Man by Jeff Lemire. That's from Maverick. Hey, Dominic Powell, how you doing? We're talking about our favorite graphic novels and that we have on our shelves, and why is it your favorite? And here we have, this is Animal Man by Jeff. So that's the new 52 run, because anytime I usually hear about Animal Man, it's always the Grant Morrison run, but this is the Jeff Lemire. I never read the 52 version though.
I gotta say, I'm surprised it's the Lemire version and not the Morrison one, because that Morrison run though.
It's iconic. Wow. It's iconic. I love the Wile E. Coyote episode or issue. All righty, Venkman, what's your number 4?
My number 4 is a movie, or not, I should say, it should have been a movie, but it's based off movies. It stars 3 incredibly hot girls led by a guy who looks like an older version of Sean Connery, James Bond. This is Scott Campbell's Danger Girl.
So it's like Charlie's Angels.
Charlie Angels meets VIP, meets James Bond, but his number being 007 is 362436. The way they draw this. Bruce Campbell gives an introduction into this as well. The guy who plays Deuce, if you look at him, he looks like Sean Connery.
Okay.
There's rumors that he. So he's like Charlie. He's the leader of their group. Here, see if I can get a shot of the girls in the back. Here.
All right.
I'm trying to get a picture. There's a shot I actually look up. I'll show a picture of it. Look.
Okay.
But
well, keep talking about the story while you're doing
the story is if their buddy Johnny Barracuda, who is his name, is if you watch the movie Dream Team 2001, do you remember that? If you remember that guy, the guy that helped them, they're doing the models. That's Johnny Barracuda in the middle here.
Okay.
He's the handsome new spy guy. You got Abby, and then up here you get Sydney, and I forget what the other girl's name, but she is well, I'm not gonna spoil it, but she is another Danger Girl. And basically, their whole entire job for them is to basically stop this evil organization known as Hammer that basically is left of the Nazi regime. This guy, his identity is unknown. Here.
Mm-hmm.
All you know is his glowing red eyes. Towards the end of the book, yeah. I mean, this is basically what you'd expect from a cheesy like 2001 TV series or show. Or Charlie, if they did it again.
Is that one of those 1990s, early 2000s cheesecake books, basically?
It is.
Yeah.
This is J. Scott Campbell and Andy Hartnell. They both created this thing. And the one thing they said, they were saying, growing up, he liked movies, and he liked comics. So he's like, well, why don't we just combine Charlie's Angels, turn it into a comic? But he's like, well, I'll never be able to afford the IP for that. So he's like, you know what? I'll create my own.
There you go.
I just love that. I mean, they do not hold back on the gigs on this, But there's the other girl from before. You see her on top of Abby Chase. Abby is actually she was the last person to bring it onto the actual squad. She was an archaeologist, a relic hunter. She was her dad was killed and stuff, And then she was recruited into the team. She ends up becoming the team leader, much to this girl's irritation. So basically, she gets jealous of Abby and stuff. Eventually, breaks off and does her own thing. They bump heads. Gets her. But dude, I love it. Scott Campbell, man. Dude, the dude's art. This is where you can see his art, not only just on the cover, you saw it on the insides too. And this is a collection of it, the ultimate collection. There are more stories. How I found out with this movie is through the 2001 PlayStation game. So,
cool.
I mean, if you love Charlie's Angels, man, this is your comic book version.
I guess that's the way to do it. Now, some people mention this. You talk about the Danger Girl. Some people mention that all those If I Wrotes that I did should just say, okay, well, this is my Iron Man version, and let's go with it, and let's draw that up. Let's see. Hello to Dominic Powell. How you doing? Share your favorites as well, man. Kevin Vu saying, I read Generic Comic. It's pretty interesting. I find it very funny. Wasn't it, though? It was pretty good. Very entertaining. Danger Girl by J. Scott Campbell has been on my must-read list for a long time, says Dominic Powell. I have been meaning to check it out. So there you go. Number 4 for the Maranyas, The Death of Captain Marvel. This graphic novel about Marvel's death gave me a cosmic gut punch in my emotions. Rick Jones accusing the heroes of not working to cure cancer was brutal. I don't think I have to bring this up, because it's just one of those absolutely famous comic book covers. But since I've been showing it off, Might as well. And this is the one that this is what Maranya has been talking about right here. And let me share that. Breen, you must have owned a copy of this at some point in time.
I've still got the original. I
Yeah.
didn't sell my graphic novels when I sold out.
I did. Yeah, I used to own this as well. It is a really good one. Look at that. Look at that. $5.95. $5.95 for a graphic novel.
I forgot about the Rick Jones, lecturing the heroes about not working to cure cancer. I need to read that again.
Is it really that good? I think that's what we're asking.
That cover you saw there, where that's holding him,
Uh-huh.
That's the original cover that the Captain Marvel, New Avengers, Miss Marvel one, was paying homage to that.
Yep.
You remember when we sold an auction?
Yep.
Yeah, shouldn't have even been allowed to do that.
Had a show called Really That Good that you could examine this on.
Eric,
wink, wink,
Eric,
nudge,
it was
nudge.
the reason they did that homage cover, that having Miss Marvel being let over, because we did not know this, but that's the last time we're going to see hot Carol Danvers.
Yeah, I didn't think of it that way.
It was a sign.
Well, we actually have hot Carol Danvers on the next month's cover. Unfortunately, she's got Cap's shield in one hand and Thor's hammer in the other, which kind of negates any attractiveness that she might be displaying.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Not anymore.
All right, and what we're getting from CHRONONAUGHT was CHRONONAUGHT, right? His number 4 was 100 Bullets, Volume 1, and that's this right here. Now, this is something I heard. You talk about books that you've heard about and you want to read. I've never read 100 Bullets, and I think I've heard only good things about it. So yeah, give it a try.
You want to hear some more good things?
Oh yeah,
yeah. That's a definite recommendation.
Okay, cool. Well, speaking of, and I should have kept the share screen going up. What do you have? What's your number 4 there, Dalton?
My number 4.
Did we lose him?
This is probably going to be an obvious one for anyone who's familiar with me, but my number 4 is The Books of Magic, the original one by Neil Gaiman. Essentially, it's a behind-the-scenes magical mystery tour of the mystical aspects of the DC universe, and kind of all fit together consistently for, I think, the first time it had ever this is the first time anyone had actually set aside a mini series. The book is, I think, 4 or 5 issues long, by the way, to really go into the ins and outs of how the magic system in the DC universe works. The weakest part of it, unfortunately, is its main character, which is Tim Hunter. Although he does get some points by being the OG version of what would eventually go on to inspire J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter, which, in my opinion, is the much inferior version. But aside from Tim Hunter constantly whining that he doesn't want to be the greatest wizard who ever lived,
hold on just a sec. Who's flipping pages? Who's flipping pages by their mic?
Sorry, didn't know you could pick it up.
Okay, keep going there, Dalton.
Okay, but anyway, basically, you get the greatest hits of the magical aspect of the DC universe. You get the establishment of one of the greatest magical teams in DC history, which is the Trenchcoat Brigade, which features John Constantine in one of his first major crossovers with the larger DC universe. For one thing, you get Dr. Occult, a occult-based DC character who's older than Superman publication history-wise, as well as his girlfriend Rose Psychic, who is also awesome. Mr. E, who one of our friends there takes his screen name from, and
John Constantine. Oh, okay. The fan. Oh, I see. It went backwards. Yeah.
I already mentioned John. But yeah, basically you get every plane of existence explained to you in the span of about 4 issues. And yes, of course, it being Neil Gaiman, it wouldn't be a Neil Gaiman magic book if Dream didn't make an appearance here and there, which, you know, is wonderful. My favorite issue of the set is the issue where Rose takes Tim into Ferry. I like the dynamics that are portrayed between Tim and the wider inhabitants of Ferry. I always like when DC's incarnation of Titania, the Queen of the Fairy, shows up. So it's always nice.
It's a good series. I like the John Constantine book a little bit more.
Well, John is always fun because John is a smartass. But being that as it may, if you're interested in getting a more consistent iteration of, I think, what Witching Hour was trying to do, when it comes to the mystical side of the DC universe, you can't go wrong with Neil Gaiman. This book is famous for a reason. The only major problems with it are its main character is boring as sin, and it's too short.
Alrighty. Dominic Powell, number 4, Michael Turner's Fathom. This graphic novel tells the story of a marine biologist who strives to find answers to her past and finds out she belongs to a subspecies of humans who are water elementals. Let's check that out. Michael Turner, Fathom. And there we go. And I have read some of these. They are pretty good, by the way. This is volume 8, though. Here we go. Volume 1. And obviously, you get Michael Turner girl art.
And you know what, though? I kind of wish the guy was still alive.
Yeah, that's
Not a great artist.
Not a bad thing there, guys. Not a bad thing. All righty. And let's see what else.
I was to say that Turner would give Scott Campbell a run for his money.
Yeah.
Variants.
Yeah, good stuff. Let's see what else we have. Where do we go? I have not read the latest Aquaman. I still need to read Death of Captain Marvel despite knowing it for a long time, says Dominic. Got the opportunity to take revenge by providing a handgun, 100 bullets, and documentation about the primary target responsible for their woes. Bullets are completely untraceable, says CHRONONAUGHT. It's kind of weird, though. The Marvel superheroes weren't doctors, says Joe. I pulled the one I have on the shelves. We need some honorable mentions. Let's see. That's from CHRONONAUGHT. Jim Sorensen. The Trenchcoat Brigade line still makes me laugh. Maranya says, CHRONONAUGHT, my number 6 is Iron Man 2020, and 7 is The Dark. Oh, she's counting backwards. The only thing I know about Captain Marvel is a lot of people hate Brie Larson for a ton of reasons that I cannot get into, but it starts with homeschooling. 90s Vertigo were some great supernatural. Some of them were. All righty, let's see. Maverick.
You were not wrong, sir.
Oh, I lost it there. Maverick, on the other hand, is for his number 4 was picking something I used to own, but once again I sold it to go to Thailand, and that is Frank Miller, Daredevil. And that's this one right here. Oh, no, that's this one right here. There we go. Oh, is it this where we have love? That's Love and War. When you say Frank Miller Daredevil, this is what I'm thinking. Because this is Love and War, and this is the one that deals with the Kingpin and his wife. And it's very good. But either any of these, by the way.
Go back. That looks like Humpty Dumpty.
Oh, with Kingpin in the back. Yeah, the way he's drawn is very much like Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love the Sandman series by Neil Gaiman. I've been doing Really That Good videos, and I'm about to do the Brief Lies. I just finished reading that, and so watch out for that video coming. Let's see. Will extend time for honorable mentions. The Uber series by Avatar. The Nazis developed superpowered soldiers at the last minute. Really? Let's see. Fathom was supposed to get a TV show, but sadly Turner died. And Death Vigil will always be one of my favorites, says Neo Valentine. I always let friends borrow it if they're looking for something new to read. So that's something to be on the look for, something called Death Vigil. Let's check to see what we get from that, and then I'm going to talk about mine. And I know I'm just adding time to it by adding everybody else, but I hope you guys don't mind seeing, because sometimes it's good to see, you know.
I very much do mind, sir.
Yeah, there you go. That's Death Vigil.
No one cares about the crowd.
Hey, some of us actually like to include the community. What are you talking about, man? All righty, for me,
PM's in the chat.
Like I said, it's not just
You're in the middle of the stage.
to me, it's not just the story of a graphic novel. So you can even have a book that's not a great story, but it's a good one, but it might be something that's on your shelf, and it's been on your shelf for a long time. And I have an original, as you can hear, hardcover of a story that I noticed not a lot of people love, and that's it's called Spider-Man: Kraven's Last Hunt. And this is absolutely freaking-tastic story. I know Eric's been on record of saying it's a piece of crap and Spider-Man should go to hell, but this, I'm just kidding. If you guys,
my memory is really going.
I know, right? Nah, seriously, this is one of those. The story is awesome. It's got great art, great writing, the whole 9 yards. But one of the reasons why I call this one of my favorites, not just for the story, it's because literally this is the original. This is the original heart. I've had this for 30 years. 90, 2000, 2010. Yeah, about 30 years I've had this. So definitely dig on this story. If you haven't read it, you must. It's your homework. You should check this out.
What issues are those? Is that
let's see what we got here. I would have to read out.
Is that after 600? The last one?
No, this isn't after 600. This is
because I'm confused because there's two different hunts with whereas one where he died.
No, there's only one hunt. There's only one Kraven's Last Hunt. And I hate the fact that they brought him back because this was such a great freaking end for Kraven. Right. It's just so stupid they brought him back after this story. It is just so stupid. I was looking for it. I'm sure you could Google Kraven's Last Hunt and get the issues and such like that.
You know, there is the second one, and I agree they should never have brought him back after that. But there was one moment in the second, then Grim Hunt that actually did really pack a punch, and that was when Maddie Franklin was, killed on the sacrificial, altar. Because the speech she gave to Madam Web when they both knew what was coming, that was chilling. That's probably the best writing that I don't know if Slott wrote that or if somebody wrote that. I know he was writing at the time. Whoever wrote that was.
Here's the thing. Yes, you're going to get some good stories. That's the way it's just. You're going to get some. It's like when they brought back Hal Jordan. It's like when they brought back Barry Allen. Not a great idea, but yeah, you could get some good stories. But unfortunately, bringing back Kraven the Hunter dilutes the power of this story, and this is one hell of a powerful story. And like I said, I'm also attached to this because I've owned it for 30 years, and I will never sell this.
He's brought back, but the thing is that you think that's bad. He's been brought back twice now.
I know.
Well, he was a regular cast member of Squirrel Girl.
Kraven's Last Hunt is no second Clone Saga, and let's see, Kevin. We'll talk about that in the issues. Let's see. That's my main complaint about Kraven's Last Hunt was that they kept bringing Kraven back. Exactly. The trauma of the Last Hunt has never left Peter. Dude, this is such a great freaking book. He gets Peter. Kraven finally captures Spider-Man and buries him alive, takes the black suit and replaces him. He wants to not only know that he could beat the Spider-Man, but he could be a better Spider-Man then Peter Parker by defeating a villain who had recently beat him in Marvel Team Up, and that is Vermin. It's an amazing story. Check this one out. Absolutely. All righty. What do you have next there, Venkman?
Well, mine is actually a book that Neil Gaiman actually liked. Original Sins, man.
Bum, bum, bum. That's one of the best, if not the best, Hellblazer stories.
I mean, what more can you want? You get Sting in his underwear.
There you go.
The cover here is Jim Lee, actually. It's written by Jamie Delano for these first couple of issues. It's collecting which one is it? It's your first 9 issues, and there's also in story from Swamp Thing 76 and 77. So you get the first appearance of John Constantine.
Oh, cool.
The art, and I just love the artist. Look at that old school art.
I also own this book, and it would have made it onto my list if I didn't know that it was probably going to show up here. So, yeah.
Oh my gosh!
Yay me!
I just love the whole thing.
Yeah.
Oh,
The entire Vertigo Hellblazer is pretty damn amazing. Let's be perfectly honest. There are no bad issues. There are some that are not as good as others, but especially those first few in Original Sin are some top-notch storytelling right there.
I mean, you get the beat Zed in here as well.
Well, after Sting in his underwear, I think you pretty much sold it. Ash is saying, well, now we know what Venkman likes in his comics, Sting in his underwear. I
like everything Ash doesn't read.
Right. R.I.P. Vertigo is also coming from Ash. Hellblazer, awesome. Vertigo will be missed.
Did you watch the NBC Constantine?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
They cover this where the guy can't stop eating because he has a demon in him. He's possessed. And he basically has to keep eating. I know.
I was so impressed they actually did the hunger episode.
Oh my god. Awesome. And I love it. He's like, it's like how many days since accidents? It's like 0. Yeah. Since 0 on the board.
John,
it's like, well,
you're a bastard, but we love you.
And of course, they also covered it in the movie, except for they turned it into drinking. And of course, I mean the movie was just incredible. The movie's actually better than the book.
Yeah, Papa Moon Knight's choking a chicken.
Angleton,
yeah, wait, what?
I don't want to do horrible things to you, but you deserve horrible things.
Say what? He's crazy. Did he say that? Yes, he did.
You got Swamp Thing in here too.
All righty, cool.
I mean, I just love the fact you got John in there. He's stacked.
Oh, one more.
Where is it? Is my hand right? No, it's over here.
Kane.
He's just stacking the beers down there. Here, I think is
Abigail Kane.
That's the one thing about John. He drinks profusely. Whether he's at the whiskey or he's at the bar.
Well, that's the whole thing.
Was smokestack.
Wasn't that part of the thing? He got cancer or something like that? Was that no? Or is that bad habits or something like that?
He even gets attacked by money.
That was all his endings. That was a standalone graphic novel. He saved himself by selling his soul to 4 different
demons. Yeah.
Look at it. He's got a money monster.
Yeah.
He's got a what monster?
It's made out of money. Currency out of ATM. It just flows. It starts attacking you as a person trying to kill him.
God bless him.
Death by currency.
And you thought the shit golem from Justice League Dark the movie was on the nose.
And here's the other one. It's in the newspapers now. They say Print is dead, but now it's possessed.
So how about you, Dalton? What's up next for you? What is your number?
I've got to go with. Yeah, I've got to go with Jack Kirby's The Demon, the trade paperback, because I got it for Christmas for really cheap apparently, and I can't believe it, but it's the entire Jack Kirby Etrigan the Demon run.
So it's the omnibus.
Well, it's just one trade. It's not like super big or anything, but it's the entire Jack Kirby Etrigan run.
This one right here.
My screen just all of a sudden decided it.
Okay, it literally says Jack Kirby's the Demon. So talk about it. Tell us why it's great. And tell us why it's your favorite or on your favorite list.
Well, okay. Etrigan has always been a favorite character of mine to the point that I when I was like 15, I wrote really bad fan fiction in regards to Etrigan.
I think we all now want to read. Yeah, we absolutely want to read your fan fiction for the Demon now.
Okay, but it's not. It's not going to. I'm not going into it. It's too embarrassing.
Okay.
But at any rate, Jack Kirby had his hit or misses, and I know it's kind of heresy to say that Jack Kirby had some misses, but he did.
Yeah, he did.
Etrigan is not one. Etrigan is not one of them, though. He hit it out of the park with Etrigan. Every weird supernatural thing that you expect from Jack Kirby, and every epic thing that you expect from Etrigan the Demon, you will find all of it here. And like I said, for one trade that's like $20, you get the entire Jack Kirby run with Jack Kirby art, which is in and of itself kind of awesome. And of course, I believe it's late Silver Age or early Bronze Age that this fills in. Correct? One of y'all can correct me on that. But yeah, it definitely, you can definitely tell it's Jack Kirby. Basically, it gives the origin for Etrigan, and then it transplants him and Jason Blood, who's bound to the modern world, and basically he's a demon who's forced to do good by Merlin and Jason Blood, and he rhymes while he's at it. And I defy anyone to not like Etrigan by the end of even one of these stories. But you get them all in this.
Dalton,
so
you should read one of the. Here's you read Flash Forward with Wally West. He comes across an Earth where Superman is Etrigan.
That's weird.
And he rhymes too.
Okay.
He's got the S and everything.
He's got the demon in him.
There's an Etrigan Superman, and they're where they live or the White House is basically a castle.
Alrighty, so Maverick is saying that his number 3 is the Saga of the Swamp Thing. Bringing in some Alan Moore work right here, and that's this one. I've read this, by the way.
You are not wrong, sir. That is an awesome
story. I remember picking these up when they first came out because I was actually I liked the Swamp Thing. I liked the Swamp Thing before Alan Moore showed up, and I loved the Swamp Thing after he did. So that was
that's the thing. If you like Swamp Thing before Alan Moore, you will love Swamp Thing post Alan Moore.
Yep.
It's kind of even though I enjoy Wesley Dobbs Sandman after Gaiman, it's just it's a thing of beauty.
And Maranya is saying the John Byrne She-Hulk graphic novel, that's this one right here, is her pick. It's number 18. And I've read this. This is pretty good. But once again, I was a huge She-Hulk fan. I was reading everything about She-Hulk.
I wouldn't say Ashley's asking me this is a top 5. I said this is how many books we want to Ingleton wants us to do. I have tons of books.
Yeah, we're just doing 5. Otherwise, it would take 4 hours. It looks like it might actually run. We're at 49, and we're on 3. So, yeah. And Etrigan is an underrated character. Oh, what were you showing there, Eric?
She-Hulk.
Okay.
Is that what collection is that?
It's the one that he was talking about last night.
Oh, you went and bought it?
No, I've had it.
He already had it. He had it.
That's right.
Sealed and I opened it up and read the whole thing today.
Yeah, technically it's a top 20 where each of us are giving our top 5.
Well, and for those who are just joining us, Eric has every single title that Angle Team talks about. He pulls it out.
He's got this magic Santa Claus bag. Anytime I mention a comic book, he goes, "Oh, it's right here. Oh, it's right here."
He's like Ernest reaching into Santa's bag.
Yeah, it's like Doctor Strange where he said, "Where's the time gem?" Woo. Oh yeah, you remember Avengers number 115? Woo, shing, and there's Avengers 115 just showing right up.
Eric, Eric, what you see right there? That's the section that is only part of his house doesn't have long boxes. The rest of it's all stacks. It's a maze. It's like Pan's Labyrinth.
And Jim Sorensen is bringing up one of my favorite stories of all time, The Great Darkness Saga, with one of the worst covers of all time. Eric, do you know why this is one of the worst comic book trade paperback covers of all time?
What's the Great Darkness Saga? Refresh my.
This is Legion of Superheroes.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
That's why I never read it. Yeah.
All right. So, yeah, it's an incredible story. Love the story. One of the worst covers of all time because there's 2 or 3 issues where these creatures start showing up and they're shadow creatures. And it's like, it's a big mystery. What are these shadow creatures? And if you actually look at if you look at how they're drawn, it's like Superman and then Orion. It's these shadow versions of them. And they're like, well, who's behind this? It is a huge mystery as to who the villain is. Well, not anymore because he's right on the freaking cover. This is the return of Darkseid into the DC universe, or at least the Legion universe. It's an incredible story. Highly recommend it to you. If you find the individual issues actually aren't too expensive, but it's absolutely fan-freaking-tastic. That was Jim Sorensen's pull. Good stuff. All righty. Oh, did I just not share the screen and ask you if it was a good cover?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm a dumbass. All right.
No doubt about that.
Yeah, we know.
Oy vey.
You want to record that? Oh, wait, we are.
Yep.
we'll fix it in post.
Well, yeah, right. I'm too lazy for post. So anyway, my number 3 is kind of like the Jeff Smith in the fact that it came with a poster cover. This was a special order, as a matter of fact. It was everybody left. It's a special order that you had to do, and this is another book that I've had for what's it been, 20-something years now since it first came out, and it is the Marvel. It's another hardcover, and it's Marvels. And this was a collector's issue. They were supposedly only 250 or something like that printed or something like that. I remember reading it in previews, and I just wanted this version because Marvels was the best story I'd ever read at that point. You know, it was one of those things. And oh my gosh, I'm so in love with this series. Obviously, if you haven't checked it out, it's Alex Ross art, and it's incredible. It looks incredible on the inside. But why I wanted it is because the cover is actually a poster that spells out Marvels. And so I thought, oh, that would be really cool. I've never put it up. I bought the book, but I never put it up. But it really is cool. And
just rip it off right now.
Yeah, ain't gonna happen. Ain't gonna happen, bro. But like I said, man, I've had this thing since I first got it when it was reprinted, I guess, in 1996. But damn, great freaking story. Love this book, not just the story. But like I said, if you own something this long, man, it's like,
hey, it's going as long as my sister's marriage so far.
I'm gonna keep a hold of this one. Seriously.
96, man.
Okay. And what great freaking art. I love this story, man. Yeah, you guys have read this, right?
Never even heard of it.
Yeah.
Have you seen the wall size poster for that?
Yeah, I have actually seen that they made, and I was gonna get it, but this is back when Gail had Say What I Put on the Walls, And she goes, "You're not putting that on our wall." No, now, I win. So
For now.
My wall, mine.
Yeah,
need the wall.
It's taking
already
up a good chunk of one of mine.
we already talked about how when we move into our own house, I'm gonna have my own room so I can decorate it like a 16-year-old.
Eric has his sports room. You'll have your comic room.
Damn.
The man cave of England.
I already told her this is how I want it to be. I want to put a camera in the middle of the room, and on one side of the room is going to be Disney stuff. On the other side of the room is going to be movie stuff, and then we're going to have comic book stuff. So whenever I needed to film a video,
You can just go.
I can turn the camera around, and you just have the background. That's how I want my room to be. Dominic Powell saying his number 3 is The Max by Sam Keith and Bill Mesner Loeb's, a surreal superhero and urban fantasy story where a homeless man could travel to the outback and is guardian of a social worker named Julie. And let me see if I can't bring up The Max number 1. Now, this is one that I have read, but I never got into as much as others did. But to me, Sam Keith is he's an acquired taste, man.
I've never tasted him before. So what's he like?
Peaches. It's pretty out there, man. Seriously, right
Peaches?
there.
Okay.
Yeah. There we go. My honorable mention is Sensational She-Hulk by John Byrne. Enough said. Ashland Marvels, good call. I have the hardcover of Marvels with the issue 0 and the behind-the-scenes Yeah, that's in here too. And the behind-the-scene details, how Alex created the Marvel. Yep, that's in there too. And the DC response, Kingdom Come. That's on the shelf also. That might show up if we do this again. I'm not sure I could easily put together a top 5 of Marvels. It was really, to me, I wanted to talk about not only the stories but the books, and that's what made this a little bit easier. Let's see. Let's go on over. What do you have on your number 2, Venkman?
Got a little book. It's called Thor, and this is Deviant Saga 1 through 5. Robert Roddy, also known for Thor for Asgard, and also as illustrated by Steven Segovia, Silver Surfer. So basically, this introduces you to the Eternals. If you've never read any Eternal stuff, basically this girl in the back here, you see in the back, crazy villainess, decides she's in the ruins of Asgard, lives in below, and she wants to save her society. So by any means, she comes across this device, basically ancient mystical device, allows her to basically erase reality if she wants to, change it. So when the Eternals go and attack her, they disappear. So it's up to Thor to basically go and stop her. It's not the, I wouldn't say it's the best, but I love the art. It's not what to me is my classic Thor, not what you guys would see maybe in the 50s and 60s or whatever, 60s, 70s.
60s, yeah.
Yeah. This is what I grew up. I grew up with 90s through 2000s. That's my Thor. And I'm not ashamed to say that.
There's nothing to be ashamed by saying that.
Because some people say, like, well, I don't like the way that how Thor looks. He looks like a Viking. I'm like, he's a Viking god. Of course he's going to look like it.
That makes sense for some reason.
How dare they, derp?
But I just love the art in here, dude. It's clean. You can tell who people are. Yeah, nobody really looks like they know what they have messed up feet or hands. And plus it gives me an introduction to the Eternals. I to this day I really don't know who the Eternals are. I have to go back and read this to figure it out, because the Eternals to me have just been like, okay, I love evolutionary. What's the big deal? They're a race like the Inhumans. Like, I never cared for the Inhumans, but somehow the Inhumans are supposed to be better than the X-Men. When the X-Men have cooler stuff.
I like the Inhumans. I just didn't like how they treated them for a long, long while.
Well, the thing is, the Inhumans, they say,
good God.
Well, but then they brought back the Inhumans. If you remember that, in the late, was it Uncanny Avengers, or even before that, they had the Inhumans come back, and the Inhumans just basically put this poison gas on the Earth, that's another story though. You should read that. You know, if you want to see the death of all the X-Men and all, well, not all the X-Men, but Merger of the Mutants, where Rogue's pretty much dying. That's yeah. I picked this up on a whim because I was on a Thor, kick. I was like, oh no, couldn't cost that much. It was $15 US for the cover price. Like I said, this is another book I got on clearance, so I probably paid like 10. But and Ash, omnibuses are trade paper books.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're volumes, they're collections.
Yeah. Yep.
So.
Alrighty. So let's see for Maverick. He's saying his number 2 is Green Lantern, Emerald Dawn, which is a really good story. Kind of retells the origin of them. Yeah, I dig on this one. That's pretty cool. Now let's see what we have.
Is this what Emerald Crusader?
No, I'm not. That's a little.
Which one is Emerald?
Emerald Dawn. This one.
Yeah, is that the one that Emerald Crusader is based off of? The cartoon they did for Bruce Timm?
I don't even know that cartoon.
Those are the early movies they did for DC.
I would have to look. Oh, wait. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't follow this storyline anyway.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's see. Number 2 for Maranya was Marvels. I already put up a visual aid for that one. Sorry, Maranya. And Tillium, I'm starting to notice a little trend here. Your number 5 is Titans Rebirth by Benjamin Percy. Number 4 is let's see. Number 4 was Son of Batman. Number 3. Super Sons, number 2, Robin, Son of Batman, and number 1, the Batman and Robin Omnibus.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's a Robin fan. Just gonna go with that. Yeah,
it looks more like a Damian fan.
Yeah.
What do you have as as your next up there, Dalton? What's your number 2?
My next up is going to be the DC Golden Age Archive Edition for Dr. Fate. It's a hardcover. It's a hardcover volume that contains the entire More Fun Comics run, which is the original run of Dr. Fate.
And you have this book?
Yes.
He's Dalton.
I got it for Christmas. I got it for Christmas 3 years ago or 4.
Were they out of the Jared Stevens one?
Your family buys you comics on Christmas? My family won't even go into a comic shop at all.
I guess if I don't watch.
My mom has always been very supportive of all the weird things that I'm into. She knows that she will never understand why I like the things I like, but she knows well enough that I will, or that I do. And if she has any doubts that I know why I like the things I like, she knows that if she asks me any questions, she's gonna get a 2-hour dissertation on why. So
does she stay Drake?
She basically stopped asking questions because she knows any question will be greeted with a 2-hour dissertation in excruciating detail.
Well, I don't understand why. It's not like you to be long.
But regardless,
go on over explaining stuff.
Ash is asking if he can play catch up. I'm not sure if he wants to go on the stream.
No.
Come on, or what? I'm not sure.
All right. So yeah, I'm actually impressed. I like these archives. I think they're pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm a really big fan of this format. They are immaculate hardcover archive editions of these books, and my God, the art and everything in them is just immaculate. For those that don't know, Dr. Fate is my absolute favorite character in all of comics, and so often he just gets crapped on by stupid plot twist after stupid plot twist after stupid plot twist. But this is, I want to say, like 28 issues of just perfect golden age awesomeness. And you even, by virtue of it being the DC Archive editions, get a really nice introduction kind of going into the ins and outs of the creation of the character by Gardner Fox, and how he was kind of a Lovecraft fanboy, and Dr. Fate was kind of his love letter to H.P. Lovecraft. So yeah, it's great. Just
Cool.
any character you like, if they existed in the Golden and getting a DC Archive edition. The cool thing though was when I initially found this Archive edition for Dr. Fate, it was only like $27, which for like 30 issues is not bad, especially in the nice hardcover.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Format that it was in. So yeah.
All right. Okay, they bowed out for a little bit. So Dominic Powell's number 2 is right here. I figured that's where I went. I saw his message. I thought, oh, okay, I could get a visual aid right here. Monstrous by Marjorie Liu and Sana Takeda, excuse me. A teenage girl and survivor of a cataclysmic war, Micah Huffle searches for answers of her mysterious past while staying one step ahead of her hunters. So there you go. And it's really a good book, by the way. And if you like the fantasy and the fantastic, as I know you do, Dalton.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I do recommend
I like Dr. Fate.
Some great art, great storytelling. I agree with Dominic. It's one to pick up. That might show up on mine a little bit later, but there you go. And one really cool thing, by the way, about Image Comics, watch this not be one of them. No, it is. One really good thing about Image Comics is Volume 1 is usually only $9.99. So they keep it a little cheap so people could try new things.
Yep.
So there you go. Alrighty. So Eric, hold on. Let's see. Homegrown Tourist StreamYard having trouble connecting, please. And so is I Love Comics having trouble connecting. Are you guys hearing me?
I can hear you.
Yeah.
Okay.
We can hear you fine. I don't know about the audience. If the audience is having any issues, please.
Well, I sent the link, and so there you go. If someone wanted to jump on, I mean, you mentioned Ash. If they wanted to jump on and show, like,
I assumed he wanted to come.
We are literally on book number 2. We're trying to keep this below 2 hours, so you could come on. I don't, but you have to jump on where you are here.
And Ash, you have to do a face reveal.
Yeah, we were actually talking about that with Dalton. We kind of want it to be able to show the books. But there you go. Yeah. I need to pick up Monstrous. I picked up the first 2 trades but Dalton's in his underwear. We don't want to see that, so we're excusing it.
Yeah. Yeah, the only option would be bathrobes, and no one needs to be seeing that.
Ash, bring on a couple of books to talk about. Like I said, we're on number 2.
Yeah,
you can talk about 2, and then your favorite book on your shelf. Why is it your favorite? Is it like I'm showing off more than just the stories? I'm showing off books I'm proud of, or books that I've owned forever and a day. And I know I will never actually sell because they are literally my favorite books on my shelf.
I mean, Ash, you should have came on for the 3rd book, and then you go 3, 2, 1.
There you go. I don't know.
Which he didn't do in either one of his videos today.
Wow.
A little bit disappointed.
Yeah.
Wow.
All righty. Let's see. A lot of that list also covers the Bat Family side of things. If I were to cover the Superman side of things in top 5Ds. Well, here's the thing. If this is popular, if you guys like this, we'll definitely do more. Let's trade let's share what's on our shelves kind of things. I think that would be a lot of fun. So don't worry about, this doesn't have to be the absolute, although I've got kind of the absolute best, but there's still a few as far as story that I could pull up. All righty. So, Think Tank from Mad Cow is Chrononaughts. Let me
Random. All right.
I just typed in Think Tank Mad Cow, and I got a whole there it is. That would be this one, I think.
Don't type in Man Cow. Get a whole different thing.
Right.
He's a DJ in Chicago.
It's this right here, but that's volume 5. But this is what I pulled up. I put in Think Tank Mad Cow graphic novel, and got everything but, it looks like. So,
Tank Girl.
yeah. Okay. All righty. Who do we have next, and what do we have next? Let's go.
Well, Ash is posting his in the chat.
Oh, okay. Number 5 is the Infinity Gauntlet. Oh, got that up there too. Star Wars Dark Empire. Excellent series of Star Wars stories. Number 3 is Marvel's. Obviously shown that. Daredevil Born Again is a great storyline. Not a lot of people know that Eric Breen was a character in it. He got a sift through the chest. And alrighty, so
Eric's actually in my book for my last one. So when we get to that, I'll put in which one he is.
What is your number 2? What is your number 2 here, Venkman?
I thought we just did 2.
Did we did no? No, we did 3. Or did I not do my 2? That's
I already.
No, I think that's what happened. I didn't do my 2.
Yeah, because I've got 4 books already.
Yeah, you didn't do your 2, but we were on 2.
Now I don't know. This might go wrong because Eric thinks something different. But if you talk about Marvel in the 1960s, as far as artists are concerned, Jack Kirby, right?
Yeah.
I want to see if you and I are simpatico. If you go to DC and you talk about DC in the 50s, 60s, what's the name that comes to mind?
Probably Kurt Swan.
Really? See, we are not on the same page, because I would ask you, Brain, then. Where on earth is Carmen Infantino? Carmen Infantino. Dun, dun, see, because it was Carmen Sandiego.
Yes.
That's also the wrong theme.
We got the joke.
Well, but Swan was, the house artist for the biggest character. Infantino was the Flash.
Well, he did more than that, but this is a book. I swear to God, Breen, you want jealousy? I got this for $4.99 at Ollie's.
Nice.
I am not freaking kidding you. This is one of my favorite books. One, because just look at that. Look at freaking that. Is there anything that's being on the shelf is beautiful? Seriously. This man drew so many iconic stories, and this is what the inside looks like. When I read this book, I barely open it past this. I really do. I'm not going to break that spine, baby. I am not going to do it. I'm just such a stickler for this book. I loved it, man. Look at that. They'd reprint the covers and everything. We got the Batgirl first appearance Batgirl story in here. We've got the Scarecrow story in here. So many freaking good books, man. A lot of Batman. But it's so I love this one, man, and the fact that I got it so gosh darn cheap, I love that.
Yeah, that cover that you showed, there was a Batman hardcover that was published in the 70s that used that same cover.
Yeah, I mean this was awesome. You talk about how great that first run of Ollie's books was.
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah. They're not putting shit like this on the shelf anymore.
Oh,
I know, right? God damn it.
that just hurt to look at, because I used to have both of those books.
Oh, yeah? Oh, goodness. And so if you do have a chance to pick this up, if you find it, I think you're going to enjoy it. There's a lot of Silver Age sweetness to this thing. There really is. And we always say it. And look, there's some good stuff. I'm not somebody who says all comics suck these days. There's a lot of good stuff to be found. But you know what? This takes me back to a time when I wasn't even born. That's how cool this is.
That didn't get to my Ollie's, or I would have been all over that.
Oh, hell yeah. This is really good stuff. All righty, but that's my number 2, Tales of the Batman from Carmine Infantino. Good stuff. Good stuff. Miranya's like Kurt Swan. Yep, I agree. I know where he was going. Okay, but to me, it was always I just love his freaking art. Always have. Some of his best covers. Heck, I do believe he's also the one where they're watching TV, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. I didn't realize until you pointed that out how much of that was Carmen Infantino, because I've read so many of the old Flash stories that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they DC wasn't very big on crediting the writers and artists, and if it wasn't somebody as distinctive as Gil Kane, and Carmen Infantino is a lot his work was a lot less, he kind of became like a funhouse mirror of himself later in his career. But his earlier work, and like the ones you showed off, is pretty solid.
Yeah, it's good stuff, man. At some point, you know what I think I might do just to go through this one. I think I do those really that good. How about is Carmine Infantino really that good? And I'll just go through these stories and talk about that. I think that would be a lot of fun. Alrighty, so we've got Undead Quinn joining in. Number 2 is Motor Girl by Terry Moore. That is a good series, by the way. Tales of the Jedi from Jim Sorensen. Talking about Steve Ditko is also an awesome artist of the time. Dick Giordano was another name back then. Man, that's a whole other top 10 subject there, Eric Breen. Silver Age artists. Who are the best? Hey, Englantina, by the way, your beard is showing. Looks like someone is ready to grow that beard. This is a month, man. What the hell? VENKMAN, by the way, said if I could go a month without shaving, he would give $100. I said, yeah. I think he wanted to see how it grew up top. But there you go. I am getting, by the way, the Picard going on. It's just unkempt. I need to be able to shave. If I want to get the Picard at this point, I have to kind of manicure it, I guess. But yeah, this is actually a month's worth of growth. That beard is come in, and I'll tell you what, 6 days, it's gone. My name artists back in the day were Gene Colan and George Tuska for Marvel. Don't shave it, you look awesome with a beard.
Or Adam Austin when he was moonlighting at DC.
Yeah. Alrighty, the old man comics with a beard is not bad. You know what? You guys' opinion, I appreciate it, but there's only one person who, if Gail says keep it, I'm keeping it. It's up to her. Really. Alrighty.
it's like Jimmy Buffett with a beard.
There you go. The beard is looking good. Once it grows out, it won't be uncomfortable. Well, actually, what I think it really needs to happen is I really haven't shaved, but I actually haven't touched it either, so it is a bit unkempt. So if I could actually take care of it, it would be all right. But I figured if I were to trim it even, that would break the deal.
I say shave it off and then just leave the mustache like you did in the 90s.
Not even a little bit. Not even a little bit. I hate
And then you can make it do what Sam Elliott's does in the Doritos commercial.
Yeah, great. I don't know what kind of Magnum PI bullshit fantasy my wife was putting me through there, but yeah, I hated that. Yeah.
There's only one Thompson, and you're not Thompson.
Also, remember to use shampoo on it. Soap, don't cut it on beards. Well, thank you for the heads up there. But no, I actually use shampoo a lot as soap. Yeah, the wife is the boss. That's the way it goes. Now, she says she likes it more like stubble rather than the beard, so it's going to be up to her. All right, let's continue this party, and let's get to our favorite, our number ones, at least for this run. If this is something popular, this is something you guys want to see more for, let's check out the number ones. And VENKMAN, at least for this time around, what is the number one graphic novel or trade paperback you have on your shelf?
I still haven't read this one yet. This will be the next one to read. Daredevil Yellow. So, but I'm gonna have to go with one that Ash showed me, and it's called Batman White Knight.
Dun dun dun!
How can you not like this story? You get the original Harley Quinn back in here. Back in gesture, the real Harley Quinn, she beats the crap out of the other one. Who basically laughs at Jack because really in this story you get. See, I'm like you. I don't want to open up the thing. I want to ruin it.
Yeah, you want to just keep it a little bit shut. Yeah.
But that's the fake Harley Quinn, and then you see, and you can see the new one comes in, and she's basically like, "Excuse me." It's like, you are not Harley Quinn. You're an imposter. Basically beats the crap out of her. And yeah, this is the whole series. It starts off with the Batman Begins scene where he's chasing him down the road, in the Batmobile and stuff. He comes across. See, I can find the actual scene where you see him jumping across. I think it's the very first one. But Sean Gordon Murphy is a fan of Batman. He is basically one of us. What he does, he basically incorporates everything about Batman story there is, or all basically movies, puts them into the books, including the animated series. I think it's towards the end here where he actually apprehends them again. But I mean, just the art in this alone.
That is really good. It is a good story.
I can't see anything else. It's just, what would you do? It's felt like more like a what if story. What if the Joker became not Joker anymore? And he turned against, basically what he does, he turns the city of Gotham against Batman, saying, Batman, he abused me. I'm you know, this whole entire time, I've been a victim of him, you know. What I did, yes, I paid for my mistakes in Arkham, but, you know, what has he done? He's destroyed the whole entire city, you know, and he exposes that there's a slush fund that was created by Bruce Wayne. And the mayor and all that stuff, and only people knew about it was Commissioner Gordon, the mayor, you know, and Bruce Wayne, and basically it's called the Batman Devastation Fund. He's like, I can out you if I want to, you know, and they let him go. It's obviously they find out who everyone figures out who Batman really is as far as on the actual squad, but yeah. This is like the best series I've read about as far as Batman and Joker and, like, you know, teaming up together when they're. So basically, you get, think about this thing. You get the huge shark chase at the end with every single Batmobile there is. The Batman, it doesn't make a difference. It has nothing to do with the story at all. He has like 30 different Batmobiles. He has the 66. He has the Batman Returns. He's got the Tumbler. He's got like every single one you want. You know, even the Batman series, you know, he's just got so many different Batmobiles. And he's, you know what? We're going to go stop this, basically, the former Harley Quinn in here. Well, basically not former, I should say. This is the imposter becomes the new Joker. She's jealous. She's upset. She mind controls all the villains, and she finds out there's this secret hidden, like, freeze gun on the island. And she's like, you know what? I'm gonna screw you. I'm gonna show you who the best Joker is. You know, since there's no Joker, and you know it doesn't want. You know, I'm just gonna do what the Joker would have wanted me to do. I'm gonna freeze the whole entire city. So they're all basically. Batman's like, you get a car, you get a car, you get a car. At the very end, on how they're just racing again, just to get to the very part of it. And then, what's his name? Joker. Let me see. Actually, find the actual thing. It's pretty cool as far as the whole car chases.
Don't spoil it. That's something. Like, I agree. You maybe
if you've never seen this, man. I mean,
sell it. Don't spoil it. You know, tell people why they should be.
Spoil it. This has been out for a year.
So some people don't know about it. What can you say? I've got books on my shelf that've been out for 20 years and nobody's heard of them. Come on, man.
It's been spoiled before. If you've never,
it's been spoiled. It's being spoiled by you right now. Come on.
Well, right. You know what? Because you've had a year to procrastinate, not read it. Angleton, I understand you're behind. Have you ever read this?
No, I have read it. I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about for, you know, let's let people discover some of this stuff for their own. That's why you love it, is because you were able to discover from beginning to end, all brand new. Now you sold it. Don't
comics, yeah.
Yeah, don't go too far with it, man. Come on.
But I'm just saying, no, it's this is the one of the best things, the best Joker stories you can have.
I agree with you on that.
And in Curse of White Knight, which is the sequel to this, they dabble into with the origin of the Joker. And I know some people do not like that. Like, well, I don't want him to have an origin and all that stuff. I want it to be, you know, like, yes, you know. Nah, this is an Elseworlds, man. You can do what you want. If you don't like it, too bad. Go read another book. Who care about your fifis?
All righty. So Maverick is whoops, wrong one. That's my eBay. Maverick is saying that his number one is King on his shelf is Kingdom Come. I've got this on my shelf, and one of the reasons why I like it there is because it was one of the only times that my wife went into the comic book shop to buy me a comic book for Christmas. So there you go. Yeah, this is a great story. Great pick, Maverick. That might show up on a later countdown. Jim Sorensen's putting his 2 cents in. His number one is a Robin story, a Batman and Robin story called A Lonely Place of Dying. And this is where Tim Drake comes up and he gets his training as Robin and so forth and so on. And it's got even Teen Titans and such in it as well. So good story, good story. Let's see. Bum, bum. And Ed, I actually was thinking about putting this on because it is one of my favorite stories, but it is a lot of like 5 or 6. And that is Batman No Man's Land.
Hey, I also wanted to show real quickly.
And these are some incredible. Hold on. These are in some incredible stories right here. If you have a chance to pick these up, this is my favorite Batman story of all time. All righty. Since it can't be about you guys, okay, Venkman, what do we have?
That's the hardcover cover. Look at the inks on this. This is if you take the paper off.
Yeah, that is really good.
You get.
That is beautiful.
You get Joker. Jack Napier working in that library, prison Arkham. You know.
Yeah. Alrighty, let's see. Batman White Knight is the best thing to come out of DC. That book is masterful, one of the best books in the last 20 years. The Batman Black White series are the best short collections. Batman Black. Oh, I know. I've got some of those. I've got those are pretty good. Alrighty, let's go to Dalton. What do you have? What's your number one book?
For this time around, my number one has to be the Neil Gaiman Sandman Omnibus. I have the first 2 volumes of it, and it's a thing of beauty. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's got red faux leather.
Oh, hold on, I'm showing it.
It's embossed in silver lettering. It's got the entire Sandman run, and it's amazing. Everything about this book.
But this one book has 70 books, or is it volume 1 and 2 that has 70 books?
Volume 1 and 2 have all 75 issues.
Okay.
Together. But everyone knew it was going to be something Sandman related because it's me. But
yes,
for the sake of explaining why this book in particular, I'm going to get a little bit personal. Okay, so the reason why I'm not in college anymore is because I had some crippling anxiety. And for about a year, even after I left college, I still had crippling anxiety. Like my heart rate was like 180/90 at one point, and my heart almost exploded. One of the things that got me out of it, in particular, was when my mom got me both volumes of this for Christmas, and it reminded me that there was good things in the world, but not everything was worth panicking over. Although, to be fair, before I even touched this, I washed my hands every time I even.
It looks like you would need to. I mean, look at this thing; it's silver, for Christ's sake.
Like I even had a special lotion that I would like rub on my hands to make sure I didn't ruin the book, because it was just that beautiful for me. So yeah, this book, I had always read Sandman online, but I had never actually gotten a chance to read it all the way through until I got this. And like I said, this book pulled me out of some pretty deep, crippling anxiety. So, or at least it helped pull me out of some pretty deep, crippling anxiety. So for that, I will always be grateful to this book. Not to mention that it's the freaking Sandman, and therefore will always be my favorite comic. But yeah, this book is deeply personal to me, and if anyone ever burns down my house or anything, this might be one of the things I miss the most.
Or you put it on your lap and as you're wheeling out. That's like, say you guys save the family. I'm saving my Sandman.
I have too many wonderful things in my room to do that for, to be honest with you, if I ever have a house fire. But yeah, this one's they're expensive about as shit. Like I'm pretty sure the first volume is like $70 and the second volume is like $80, but God, they're worth it. Like I said, each book is a thing of beauty. So,
well, if you think that's not too much more than $1 something an issue.
Yeah,
or $2 an issue. $2 an issue.
Yeah, 75 issues. So, yeah, roughly.
And that's not too shabby when you break it down like that.
Yeah, and when you consider what you're getting and everything, it's yeah.
That's a good pull. All right, in the comments, Maranya came out with her number 1, and it is no surprise too. I mean, if you're talking about Sandman for Dalton,
yeah,
it just so happens you would have to.
Related for Maranya, is it?
And hello to Pope Fire. Can you leave your top 5 trades?
It would have to be Iron Man Demon in a Bottle for Maranya. So there you go. And this is a really good story, by the way, if you guys haven't checked it. Although I am more of a fan of the second version, like we were talking about, Eric, where he's in the doorway, the snow, the whole 9 yards.
Yep.
Good stuff, though. That is good stuff. CHRONONAUGHT is mentioning his favorite graphic novel he's got on his shelf is a Mike Millar book that I did Is It Really actually he's the one that commissioned it. And I told you I'm going to give you an honest review, but to him, there you go. You got Wanted. And let's see. How about you, Eric? What do you have? What's your number 1 for this round, at least? What's your number 1 trade paperback graphic novel that you have on the shelf?
I'm going to go with, and I've talked about this on previous live streams, but this Fantastic Four, Crusaders, and Titans. And the reason why this means so much to me is because these were the stories that came out when I first discovered comics, as a hobby. Yeah, the first Marvel comic I ever bought was Fantastic Four 167, and that was a couple issues into this. And in just 1 year, my first year of buying comics, we got a Hulk crossover with Fantastic Four, where the Thing joins the Hulk and turns against his teammates, and that's the storyline where Hulk's gamma radiation cancels out Ben's cosmic radiation and turns him back into Ben Grimm. And they replace him with Power Man, and Reed builds the exoskeleton so Ben can rejoin the team. And it goes right from there into a Galactus storyline where he's planning on, consuming Counter Earth. So the High Evolutionary sends a talking gorilla to the other Earth to recruit the Fantastic Four to help him fight it. And during that storyline, Galactus does something that seems innocuous at the time, but what he actually does is puts the cosmic rays back into Ben's body so that by the end of the storyline he breaks out of the exoskeleton and becomes the Thing again. And that storyline ends with the Impossible Man giving Galactus terminal indigestion from eating the planet Pop-Up, which sounds pretty silly on the surface, but until you put it in the context of the story. And then this particular trade finishes out with the Impossible Man staying on Earth and basically making a pest out of himself because he wants his own comic book. And there's a passage in this where one of the funniest things you'll ever see in a comic book is after he terrorizes the office and finally – Stan reluctantly agrees to let him have his own comic. When he leaves, you know, one of the other guys in the bullpen says, well, should we get started on the Impossible Man issue? And Stan goes, don't be ridiculous. Marvel doesn't have time to waste on silly looking characters.
Right.
And if you see the picture, he's walking by Howard the Duck poster.
Gotcha.
So I said this, yeah, and this is when I knew that this was going to be a hobby worth keeping.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Dominic Powell is saying that his number one is Rising Stars. Okay, this is one I've heard about, but have not actually read off his description while I'm looking this. If you guys can see it, do you know where I'm looking at?
Not really.
Okay, I'll pop that up. Don't worry about it.
What part of the screen?
Rising Stars by J. Michael Straczynski's 113 people are born with powers following the appearance of a mysterious light in the sky, and explores how society may react to an advent of superpowers. And here you go. This is what it looks like. I have not read this, so this is a good recommendation. I'll try to keep an eye out, try to find this. It sounds pretty interesting.
The anticipation is killing me.
The what? Fuck it. I did it again.
Eric's just like, what's going on? We're still live?
All right, here it is. There you go. I am an idiot sometimes. There you go. This is the Rising Stars right here. Okay, so I thought I was sharing it.
Your own little world.
Oh my goodness gracious, I'm done. I am such a boomer today. But there you go, gang. Yeah, it does. It looks pretty good. Sounds pretty neat as well. Something to check out. Sorry about that, Dominic. I thought I was sharing it. Have a good night. Bye. How to garden. Take care and be safe. Let's see. My number one is probably the first one I ever got. Secret Wars, says Zach Richmond. And now that one, of course, I remember reading that one at the we went to the beach as a family on our vacation, and at nighttime, and of course if you live in Florida, going to the beach is a crapshoot, because especially if you stay there, because it rains during the summertime, like every day at a certain time. And this I actually read this on the beach.
I gotta say, this is the only one I like. It's the only Secret Wars there is. I don't not care for the other Battle World stuff they had.
Yeah.
Although, as much as I don't like the other one, I'm glad that we got Dan Slott's Fantastic Four, because it's been pretty good with Franklin creating worlds.
Oh, yeah, it's good stuff. Ara Glenian, hi all, just subscribed. This is my first time here. Hey, guy, if you want to join sometime, say the word. We'll get you on. We're about to wrap this one up. So, but otherwise, yeah, if you want to, if you've got if we say, hey, the topic coming up is, and you want to join in,
just throw out the big guns here. See that?
Say the word. Maranya is saying, I don't have the collected second version yet. I did have the floppies back in the day, and it is such a good story. Welcome, Ara Glenian from Ash. Welcome, Ara from Maranya. Ara Glenian, we're glad you're here. That was from Maverick. And yeah, we actually try to build a community here, man. Seriously, what are you holding up there, Bring? Let me highlight.
I was just holding up one of those archives that Dalton was talking about earlier. I don't have the Dr. Fate, but
we'll talk about that one on the next one.
Yeah, man child.
Just how they are beautiful.
They're pieces of art, as comics should be.
Sounds like an awesome stream. Looking forward to listening. And I've got an open door policy, so all you got to do is say, hey, I want to talk about this. Sometimes it's a show and we're more closed off, but for the most part, you can jump on. Hold on just a second. I've got a visual aid for
Eric, did you hear that? We can leave anytime. It's an open door.
We'll never escape. We're here forever.
Hey, what's up, True Brothers?
Okay, so this one would probably show up. I'll do it here. I'm gonna get two number ones.
I got a real quick question before you do anything. True Brothers wants to know from Eric, or anybody, what's a good jumping on point for Shazam? Because he decided that we love the movie, but he wants to know where he needs to start.
Well, according with what the movie star did, if you like the movie and you want that version of Shazam, Jeff Johns did a run in the back of Justice League during the 52s, which they collected into a small trade paperback. If you could find that one,
Yeah, I was just gonna say that. Yeah, if you're going off of the movie, then you're gonna want the version of Savannah that's the magic obsessed guy that can see out of his one eye and things. So
they're all good.
That one.
They are all good. I love Power of Shazam. That's probably my favorite run of the Shazam comics.
Same here.
That was by Jerry Ordway, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
In the Shazam and the
go ahead, Breen. Sorry.
No, go ahead, Dalton.
No, go ahead, Breen.
No, Venkman. Go on ahead.
No, go ahead, chat.
Yeah.
Good night, John Boy.
But yeah, those both, and basically you're not going to go wrong with Captain Marvel.
Yeah, but speaking of the DC Archive editions, there are a lot of really nice Captain Marvel / Shazam DC Archive editions, and if you're willing to spend the extra buck, they're really, like I said, they're really nice books.
Ash on Comics #1, the complete Frank Miller, the leather-bound version, which this is also one of those books that I've had forever and a day, and it was in good condition until my freaking kids got a guinea pig.
Oh no!
Oh yes,
that's just that painful. Ouch! God dang!
That pissed me off so freaking much.
I
can
imagine why.
I was, as the French say, fit to be tied. But no, this is actually it's a really nice book. It's got year one. It's got a couple of the other individual issues. It's got the Dark Knight, and it's great. It's a really nice reprint. There's not a lot of bells and whistles to it. Ooh. But with these stories, you don't really need a lot of bells and whistles.
What's wrong with your eyes there, Ash?
I don't get it.
He says, "Ow, my eyes." I think he doesn't like your book.
Oh, yeah, I know, right? Yeah.
Or he's looking at Eric.
I don't know many trades, but my favorite are Battle Cats Volume 1 and 2 from Mad Cave. I got a Battle Cats 0 from the convention. I don't know if that's a thing where, like the Stabbity Bunny thing, where I bought it during the Kickstarter days. Yeah. Alrighty. So has everybody done their #1s except for me?
Yeah. I was trying to see what Eric had on his shirt, and that's a Joker. Yeah. All I saw was the top of the circle. I was like, what is he wearing?
It looks like it looks like from the 70s there when he had his own series. Maybe a little bit earlier.
That might even be a Carmine Infantino drawing.
Yeah.
It's like character with green hair.
Now, hey, look, I love comics that there are certain comic books that tell an epic story, and then there's certain comic books that start to tell an epic story and then become porn. That's Savage Dragon, by the way. But if you want to get an absolute grandiose, it should be made into a Lord of the Rings style movie, and I'm saying an animated version of it. This big ass phone book right here, a story called Bone. Look at this damn thing. This is amazing. It's the entire series in one book. I read it once a year. It's, if you guys, and by the way, I do recognize that I've got Jeff Smith bookends going on here, starting off with Captain Marvel. But I love this series. I love the fact that you got it in one sit-down storyline. It's about a bajillion pages, but it is so worth it. It's funny. It's action-packed. It is exactly what you want in any adventure story. Abso-freaking-lutely A+ 5-star material on this.
Yeah.
Say again?
I was going to say, that looks like a bookend I put on my long box to keep the hooks from falling over.
Yeah, and like Ash said, Englentine is holding a big, thick bone in his hands. Damn straight.
He's one-handing it.
I would stroke it. That's how much I love this bone. Yes, freaking fantastic book. And it's it literally is my favorite book on the shelf. I pull this off at least once. I pull Bone at least once a year.
Hey, put it on your head once, then I'll match you.
I don't even.
So at your age, it's only good for one a year.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. Well, the thing is because it is such an intricate read, because it needs so much love and care, as you can see, it's starting to bend there. I've got to be careful about it. So there's a lot of foreplay, and sometimes by the end of that, I'm like, Scrubs is on, so I get.
Yeah.
If you thought about borrowing some of Dalton's lotion,
about once a year, so yeah.
It's fan-freaking-tastic book. It really does deserve the attention. If you haven't read this, dude, check this out. And in all honesty, let's see what this was an older version. I don't know if it's still this cheap, but this was only $40.
Yeah.
England Teen has a boner for that collection. Well, that's just two on the nose, Maranya.
At least she separated the E and the R
like
for
everybody else was kind of going around, and she's just like, "Oh, he's got a hard on for it." Yeah.
I never read War and Peace, but I understand. Someone told me
England Teen is a boner for that collection.
Yeah, but not. It really is a great. It's a great read. Have you read?
Totally fan of Bone, a boner.
Would you have have you read this, Breen?
No, I haven't.
Dude, homework. You got next week. We'll talk about it. No, it's
that ain't happening.
My brother's just said look for that book. He says it's $330.
No way.
If he's talking about that book, he said he found one for $330.
Oh wow.
So don't stroke it too much.
Don't stroke it too much.
How come I get more homework on YouTube than I ever did in school?
That's because I don't know. We're fun about it. In school, it was like these fractions.
This is stuff you actually
really
want to do, Eric.
It's on eBay.
Well, in school, your homework was do the fractions, and here it's
read
this
fraction.
book. Yeah, read Mac fraction. Well, that's can be bad homework
read
too.
This epic, life-changing comic we're recommending to you.
This is who? What publisher? Cartoon Books. That's all it says here is the publisher's Cartoon Books. I'm not seeing anything other than that. So yeah, but guys, if you haven't read it, do yourself a favor and check out Bone. It's really cool. There you go. That's my number one. So there you go. Amazon has it for $31. Yeah, check it out that way. Seriously. Good Dog Press is what Ara's saying, but there you are. Found another for closer to cover price. Yeah, pick it up. Don't pay $300 on eBay. You can find a lot of ridiculousness. Some people think they have something that's more than what it is. My favorite are the ones who don't know that condition counts for their comics. And you'll see something is like no cover. Oh, look, this is, yeah. And they try to get the top of the Overstreet. Yeah. Cartoon Books was the original publisher, and then it went to Image for a while, but he always owned it. And that's just what Image does anyway. They didn't buy it from him. I've said this, I mentioned this before. Image Comics is the publisher, and every book that's put out is actually owned by the person who created it. So generally, it's like it was. Top Cow was part of Image. Extreme Studios was part of Image, but they were never owned by Image. Yeah, that looks like a Bone Omnibus, which is also a trade paperback. The complete cartoon epic in one volume. Yeah, absolutely fan-freaking-tastic. All righty, gang, but there you go. Those are the top. Hello, we got Spider-Man in the house.
Chrononaught was complaining because he didn't see me in here. So,
oh, okay. And $20 on Comixology. Ash left the link for that one. If anyone wants to give it a try, you're not going to go wrong with that one. Yeah, it is 1,300 pages of awesomeness. Well, anyway, gang, like I was saying, there you go. Anybody else? I think that's it. But next week we are going to be talking about the top 10 greatest John Byrne comics.
Only 10.
Or 10 of the greatest.
Or 10 of, yes. That was the original. 10 of the greatest, because
it's like trying to pick between your children.
it really is. And you could
point.
always return to that particular thing to talk about more greatness from John Byrne. John Byrne was one of the two men of the 1980s when it came to comic books. And we'll talk about the other one in another list. But next week is going to be the 10 of the greatest John Byrne storylines. And after that, we were talking about something. Do you remember the topic I brought up yet? I've got to write these down.
Well, I know Quirks, the Thursday, me and Breen, and I'm not sure if Ash is going to join us, but we're doing the first appearance of Ra's al Ghul.
Oh, there you go. Good times. That's something to pitch.
So there's Eric. Did you read those yet?
I've read them so many times.
Recently?
Yeah, I actually read them about 2 weeks ago.
Okay. I got to do that. I got homework.
So check that out.
First appearance of Ra's al Ghul. That sounds like the pits, the Lazarus pits.
And yes, by the way, you just got rid of Mara. Okay, he just freaking subscribed, and now your bad dad puns are chasing him away. What's going on there, Dalton? Come on, man. No Cover comic book is.
If he can't survive one of my puns, then he probably shouldn't be on the channel for very long.
It is the worst. It's the worst. Okay, let's see. We've got tomorrow is Tuesday. Tomorrow's Wednesday, right? Oh, it's New Comic Book Day.
Yeah.
Toledo. Okay.
Today's Tuesday.
So tomorrow night we might get together and do another discussion about what we got. Maybe we'll do a watch party of an animated superhero film or something for Extreme Movie Show or something.
How you think?
Yeah. Then we can go.
City of Demons, anybody?
We've got Thursday night for the guys over on Ash's channel. Don't forget to check that out. Do we have any plans for Friday? I don't know. Anyway, Saturday, of course, is the auctions. So check that out. And Sunday, of course, is Extreme Movie Show. And then Monday, we talk and we review all the comics that we bought tomorrow.
Friday is Casual Friday, where we casually talk about comics.
And news. Yes, comic book and comic book news. And then, of course, Tuesday again for the top 10. All righty. Thank you very much, guys, for hanging out. Don't miss the auction. All righty. And as always, stay wait, no.
But zippity-doo-dah-day. It's the people watching on Homegrown Tourists and I Love Comics.
Oh, that's right. We're on Homegrown Tourist as well. So, yes. And as always, thank you very, very much for watching. Have a good time. And, yes, we were talking about underrated writers and artists. Have a good day, guys.
And goodbye, Bob.
Good night,
welcome,
kids.
Bob.
Have fun. See you. Goodbye. Have fun. Enjoy now.